G'day guys, today we're taking a look at the Anko Kids Mini Digital Camera, specifically the mint coloured one. Taking a look at the Kmart website, it looks like this retails for around $25 Australian, and it might have come with an SD card, although it doesn't mention it on the website, but it does have it in one of the pictures. It also would have come with a cheap micro USB charging cable and a cheap USB micro SD card reader. Taking a look at the manual online, it looks like this also has a few neat features, like built-in games and an MP3 player. I only paid $2 from Salvos, which is a thrift store in Australia, and unfortunately when I got it home, I noticed it did have a broken micro USB port. I'm guessing that's why it was donated. So before we have a play with it, we will need to open it up and try and swap out this port. Let's get into it. So it looks like there are just 4 small screws on the front that we need to take off to hopefully get inside. So we've removed the 4 screws and it looks like it does just separate nice and easily. There is a flex cable inside, so we don't want to break that. I will try and very carefully disconnect it. There we go. So it looks like it lifts up. So with it lifted up, it did just come loose. So I want to be very careful with that. That's our CMOS sensor. If that rips, there's no more camera function. So what do we have inside? There's quite a large speaker. There's a very small pouch cell. It says it's 1.1 watt hour. 300 milliamp hour, so not very big. And it looks like our micro USB port is on the back side of this, so we'll have to take the board out. Once again, there were 2 very small screws holding the PCB in, one at the top right, and one at the bottom left just under the battery. The battery is glued down, but I didn't have to remove it. I was able to just get my screwdriver in there. If you do end up taking one of these apart yourself, just be very careful not to punch at this battery as it can catch fire. So with the screws undone, we should just be able to lift out the PCB, but obviously the LCD is still attached to it, I'm assuming through another ribbon, so be very careful, we don't want to rip that. See if I can get the PCB out. The battery is soldered, so we can't just disconnect it. And this button at the top is actually stuck in, so we won't be able to remove that until we get the board out. I might actually just flip it over, see if I can tap it out. I was mistaken, there is a 3rd screw at the top left. I'm glad I didn't try and force it. So there's 3 screws, top right, bottom left, top left. So the screw is still just sitting in there, but it is removed, and now it should just pop out. There we go. Way easier. Don't want to break the ribbon, be very careful. Yep, it is just sitting in there with another flex cable. There's the screen glued in. The screen looks like it's just clipped in, so I might very carefully try and unclip this screen ribbon. No, I think I'm going to have to get the screen out. Yeah, the screen is clipped in with these little clips here. I'll very carefully try and pry the screen out, and we'll come back. So thankfully the screen wasn't glued in, it was just clipped, and I was able to get it out. Try not to touch the front of the LCD because I don't want fingerprints on it, but I've already touched it, so I'm going to have to give that a good clean before we put it back together. So now that the screen's out, we do want to remove it. Just going to lift the ZIF connector up very carefully, and the screen just detaches. So here's our PCB. There's not too much on it, on the back anyway. Looks like there's an unpopulated connector there. Not too sure what that's for. It's also worth noting there's no selfie camera. It looks like one on here, but there isn't actually. On the PCB, there's no second camera. Flipping it over, we've got our battery again, a speaker, and it looks like under the speaker is our CPU or controller. It is all taped, so even if I were to remove the speaker, the tape residue will be all over it, so I don't think we'll bother doing that. I should probably remove the battery before I get my hot air gun on here, but I think I can get away with carefully untaping it. You don't want to bend the battery because it will catch fire. Jeez, this sticky tape is pretty impressive. Alrighty, I'll try and swap out this broken micro USB port. I don't know if you can see it, there's bent pins inside, so that's why it wasn't working. And we'll come back. And we're back. So I've finished swapping out the micro USB port. Here's the old broken one. Probably can't see, but there are 2 broken pins inside, so that's why it wasn't working. And I didn't have a brand new one, but I did have one from my old wireless mouse, and I just stole that. I've harvested pretty much everything else off this board. There's a few switches left, but yeah, I just took it off that. It is a little bit rusty, so it did take a few attempts to get right, but we got there in the end. I just used plenty of flux and re-tinned all the pads, and ended up using my heat gun. If you didn't have a heat gun, or you weren't confident in replacing the micro USB port, there thankfully are 2 pads that are linked directly to the USB power pins. So this little pad here, the one closest to the USB port, is 5 volts, so you could solder a wire to that, and ground is labeled over here. So you could solder 2 wires to that and feed it 5 volts directly, instead of using this micro USB port. I might solder 2 wires to that, just to confirm. So I have soldered some wires to those 2 pads that I mentioned, and I've just got this little USB to sort of clip adapter that I made this a while ago. We'll clip it on. I believe yellow should be positive and blue should be negative. You can see it is drawing power, about 300 milliamp, and the charging light is on. So again, if your micro USB port did fail like mine, and you weren't too confident in removing or swapping out the micro USB port, you could just solder wires to those two pads and charge it that way. So let's start putting it all back together. I think first we have to fix our tape up. Carefully peel it off and put it back to how it was. There is a CPU under there as mentioned, but I can't quite make out what it is. It is covered in that sticky gunk. I think that's about right there. Maybe a little bit too close to that ribbon. That looks a bit better. Okay, so with the tape back, next we should put the screen back on. So here's the case, here's the screen. Just slots in. Try not to touch the LCD. You will get fingerprints on it, and they are quite hard to get off. There we go. Perfect, that looks like it's locked in. I think I touched it a little bit, but that's fine. And it goes in this way. Don't forget to put the buttons back in. And the screen should lock in nicely. That looks good. It does just click in. Don't force it because you will crack it. And then we'll slide the PCB under the button, like so. That all looks okay. Screen looks okay on this side too. Ignore the greasy smudges. I have a bit of a flux on my hands. Perfect. We'll screw the PCB back down. Once again, there's just 3 screws, top right, top left, bottom left. Perfect, so those 3 screws are in. Just keep in mind there are some little plastic pegs sticking up that the PCB does slide into. So before screwing it in, make sure it is firmly secured in there. If it's just resting on one of the pegs and you try and force it in, then it will snap those pegs off and potentially damage the screen. So just be careful with that. Before we plug the actual camera sensor in, let's turn it over and power it on just to make sure it still works. Awesome, screen turns on. It's good enough for me. I wonder if it'll give an error without the camera connected. See if I can focus down on it. Seems fine. Let's go to the camera, which I think is the shutter button. And it has frozen. So it didn't like that the camera is disconnected. We'll power it back off if we can. It's not letting us power it back off now. There is a reset button just in there next to the micro USB port. There it is there, I might press that. Actually, looks like it's come good. It did eventually reset itself, so that's good. Next we'll pop the camera sensor back in. It does just slide in, be very careful not to rip it. There we go. I had to connect it off camera, it was pretty tricky. I just used my left finger to hold the ribbon in there, and then my right finger to latch it down. Just be careful you don't get it in on an angle. It seemed to naturally want to go in on an angle. I guess it's because of the twist, but it is important it goes flush. So with that done, put it back together. There we go, just clicks together, and we'll put the 4 screws back in. So we've put it all back together and it does still turn on. However, unfortunately, the micro USB port that I replaced does still have an issue. It seems the data pins weren't reflowed correctly. Since I did steal it from a very old gaming mouse, it was a little bit rusty, so I'm wondering if that's the issue, but we'll get into why that's important shortly. So we'll power it on. There we go. It does take a few seconds to boot, and the brightness does go up. See if I can focus down on it. There we go. So there's 6 buttons in total, as well as a secret reset button. But we don't need the reset button. Left and right changes the menu option. There's only 6. Up and down also navigates through it, so that's handy. Power button is also the back button, and the shutter button is the OK button. So we'll start off with the camera. See if I can get something to take a photo of. It's got a flash drive handy. Make sure it's in frame. There is a 3-second countdown, and it snaps a picture. Now, interestingly, it did take a photo, and it saved it, but there's no SD card inserted. So it looks like this does have internal flash. But this brings us back to the broken USB port. Since there's no data pins, I can't actually find out how big the internal flash is, or get any of the pictures off. So that is a bit unfortunate. If I press right, it goes into video mode, and you do need an SD card to take videos. That is interesting. Again, the power button goes back to the main menu. So the first one's camera, second one's video camera, the third one is picture viewer. We'll open that up, go to video, but there's nothing. There are some photos on here. So the first image is not mine. I'm guessing that's maybe the last owners when they moved, or potentially the salvo store. Not too sure with that one. The next photo is just my workbench, and the last photo is the one we just took. We'll go back. Next is the settings menu. So you got photo size. It's currently set to 20M. I'm guessing that's megapixel. The highest is 40 and the lowest is 8. Obviously, 40 megapixel would result in higher quality photos, but also a larger file size, so you wouldn't be able to store as many. You got 20, 12, and 8. We'll leave it on 20. Next is the delay when you press capture. So by default, it's 3 seconds. You can turn it off. We might turn that off. Resolution, 1080, 720 VGA, which would be 640x480 or 320x240. I think 640x480. And QVGA, which probably would be 320x240. Next, we've got the timestamp, on or off. For some reason, it says open and off. Bit weird. Language settings, English. I'm guessing simplified Chinese. Not too sure what that one is. Maybe Hindi, Spanish. Not too sure what that one is either. Maybe Turkish, Polish maybe. And back to English. Apologies if I've butchered all of those languages. A screensaver, always on. I've noticed the screen does dim, so that's probably what that is. Saves battery. Auto power off in 5 minutes. You can change that to never power off, 2 minutes or 5 minutes. The volume, we'll leave it on max, I guess. You can format the internal flash, set the date, restore factory settings, and the version. So it looks like this is from 2023. That's interesting. It also mentions the sensor. I'm guessing the / none is the front-facing one. So because there isn't one connected, I'm assuming it says none. And that's pretty much it for settings. We'll go back. Games. So on the website it mentions there's 5, but there's only 3 on mine. We've got Snake, Sokoban, and Tetris. We'll start off with Snake. New game, high score. So someone has played and they've got 2. Level. It's on easy, normal and hard. And help. Just tells you the keys. We'll go straight into it. Yeah, not much to say. It is Snake. We might change the level up to hard. It's much faster now. But yeah, it is just still Snake. There's no obstacles or anything. It is just a plain basic level. Quit out of this one. We've got Sokoban. We'll go to continue. They are on level 1, it looks like. All you have to do in this one is push the boxes to the little poos, it looks like. Not too sure what that is. They look like little poos. I guess it is a snail, so maybe they're snail poos. Yeah, nothing too fancy here. Just your basic Boxel or Sokoban clone. I did port this to the original Apple I computer. I made a video about it a while ago, so I am pretty familiar with this game. I only ported the basic game engine anyway, and the first level. And last is Tetris. Is there a high score? No high score. There's 9 levels. We'll leave it on level 1. What's help? This tells you how to play. And we'll go new game. Yeah, it seems like basic Tetris. It does have a very, very wide playing level. Very wide. I think this is the widest version of Tetris I've ever seen. Also, when you press down, it instantly drops. It doesn't speed it up. That's okay. So they're the 3 games, and the last option is MP3 player, but there's no memory card. I might go and make one up, just so we can test it. So I formatted a cheap 16 gig microSD I had on hand as FAT32, and I copied a few songs to it, but I inserted it while the camera was on. Looks like it hasn't detected it. I may have to power cycle it. I'll power it off. The light's still on. There we go. Power it back on. Now if we go over to music, there we go. It did find 3 songs. It doesn't show their name, which is annoying, but it does play them. All 3 do work. It's strange that you can't see the file name though. It's not too loud, not too quiet. It's reasonable for a kid's toy. The shutter button pauses it, and back goes back. So MP3 player, pretty basic, but at least it's neat. Back to the games, still just 3 games. Might go take a photo. So that's 20 megapixel. And I might go to settings, change that to 40, go back, might take another photo. And we also might try a video. It is in SD, so it says it's recording. I know it's a bit blurry on the camera, see if I can focus down. So a little bit of video, zoom out a little bit. Got my Miu Mini here. That should do it. Alrighty, we'll pop this SD card into our PC and take a look at the image and video quality. So we're over on our Windows 11 laptop now. I've just put the SD card back in. There's the 3 songs that I copied to the root of the SD card. You don't need to put it in any folder apparently to play MP3s. And these other 3 folders were created by the camera itself. So we've got file array. It's a hidden folder, but nothing in there. We've got photos. They are quite small. I'm guessing they're not very good quality. This one is 1280 by 960, and the quality is pretty bad, it's blurry. And the other one is 640 by 480. So this will be 20 megapixel, 640 by 480, and the 40 megapixel option is 1280 by 960. Nothing fancy there. We'll take a quick look at the video. It is absolutely tiny. It's 400K, and it's 3GP. I haven't seen 3GP in a very long time. Back in the day when phones could first play videos, that was the format they used. I remember downloading and converting a bunch of old Simpsons episodes to my very old phone back in the very early 2000s. So that is a bit of a blast from the past. VLC should play it. I remember it being a very blocky codec. For some reason it's not loading. Not too sure why. I might open VLC manually. There we go. Can we play it again? Drag it over. So it is playing. The audio is muffled and the video is pretty bad. It's 352 by 288. That is very, very terrible. 8.6 frames a second, and it looked like 800 or 8 kilohertz sample rate for the audio. 32-bit sample. Yeah, so I'm guessing since it is a toy, it doesn't matter too much if the video and photos are terrible quality, but just keep that in mind. I wouldn't recommend getting one of these for yourself, but it might make a good kid's toy. I think that'll do it for today. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.